Alright, we're out here at front of my property. So you can see the yellow. You can see going all the way down. I don't know if you can see it. But there's a electric fence totally encompass my 1.25 acre lot. It's 15,000 volts. It's a pulsating fence. So it sends 15,000 volts down on a pulse. So that's encompassing the outside of the property. And below that there's a chicken wire. It's part of the barbed wire fence. It's only 3 feet tall, encompassing the property, but the electric fence and the chicken wire, or the barbed wire fence, that's 50 inches off the ground, is what it is. On the inside of the property, 1/4 acre is totally surrounded by privacy fence, is what they call it. It's a shade cloth. It totally encompasses the property. Well, 1/4 acre of the property. And as you can see, there is there's an electric fence part of on the front portion of it. It is all electric. And going down this line here, it's all electric. And of course, it's all got privacy. It's so that if dogs do get onto the property, they have to go through another layer of fencing. But it's also, they can't see what's on the other side of it. So not only is there's the shade cloth, but there's also the privacy cloth, whatever you want to call it. There's that there, plus there's a chicken wire on the back side. So that totally encompasses this area. And you can see I got cameras and I got lights. There's lights for the light pole. There's lights at the gate. There's another light behind that solar panel. So I got one light so I can open and close the gate if I need to on my side, and then another one facing the opposite direction, so if anybody's coming down the road, it's all covered. Same on top of that water tank over there, there's a light. Same farther down, there's a pole that's got lights and cameras on it. Now what's important about this fence is you can see there's fencing down on the bottom. That's 1 foot coming out, but there's on the back side, see if I can do this, you can see that there's chicken wire, and then there you can see the cloth or the privacy fence. Well, that chicken wire is actually 3 feet tall on this side, and 1 foot comes out underneath here, and as you can see there's rocks going along it. And then on this side we got 4 feet tall chicken wire, which is reinforced with cabling. And then of course electric fence across that there. And it's all tight, sandwiched together because we get some strong winds. Plus, as you can see, there's a lot of T-posts just to stop the wind. Here I don't have T-posts, extra T-posts. There's T-posts behind everything, but as you can see, I'm using fiberglass posts to help sandwich it together. You can see here, there's more fiberglass posts on this side. Of course, you can see T-posts. So there's on this area here, there's fiberglass T-posts on both sides of the fence, reinforcing it. As you can see right here, here's one on the back side and here's one on the front side, and it's all reinforced so you can't get through it. And then there's additional, where I needed it, an anchor into the ground, reinforcing that corner, or that section. And as you can see, there's rocks everywhere. There's rocks all the way around. I had to bring all those in because we don't have rocks on this property. Rocks just sitting here. So I've had to bring all these rocks in, reinforcing anything that's down low where dogs might get in. So we're over here at a corner to show this. There's a light that says at night that there's an electric fence here. As you can see on that wire tank, a motion detected light. It just tripped on me. Again, there's stuff on the bottom supporting it, holding everything down on every bit. So I went green all the way around the front here where it's visible to people, but where it's not visible from the street, I actually used black privacy fence. So This area here around the chicken enclosure area is black, and on the back side of this fence back here going a long ways, it's also black, because it's not seen, it's in between trees. So it makes it impossible for a dog to jump. First you gotta jump through the trees, over the fence, through an electric fence, through the black privacy fence, and then there's chicken wire on the other side of that to get in. My external electric fence has 2 grounding points. There's one over there by the panel, but as you can see, I got a cable laying here on the ground. I'm going to actually, when I do tie in my well to my tank, there is a pipe that's sitting right there. I have to tie it in. But when I do tie it in, this cable here is going to be tied into the steel casing, which goes down 20 feet. And a 12-inch steel casing that's 20 feet down, that's a hell of a ground. So eventually I'll have 3 grounding sources on my fence. Okay, we're on the roadside here. As you can see, there's an electric fence. Everywhere I have a minimum of 3 lines. Some places I have 4. But you can see here's another one of those lights. At night it's green. It just stands out really well to show that the fence is on. So here's a corner of the property. As you can see, I got a light, another light, and a camera covering all this. And as you can see, there's 3 lines here going down along the perimeter. Plus there's visual markers for the dogs so they can see, which is just a rope, colorful rope, so the dogs can see. If they try to jump it, they're going to hit that wire. So that goes all the way down. Entire property is surrounded by electric fence. So we're on the back side of the chicken coop, chicken run, or chicken sunroom, and chicken enclosure. And as you can see, there's another fence that's been electrified on this side here. So they have, for a dog to get to my chickens, it has to physically go through 3 fences. At least one of the 3 is electrified at all times. We're back over here. As you can see, okay, this is one side, and you can see there's trees back here, so they can go and play in the trees all they want. There's more than a dozen trees for them to hang out in this area that they like to play in. And as you can see back here, there's another privacy area. It's just to make it so people can't see what's going on behind that area. So I can be standing on the back side of that from the street and somebody can't see anything. So if I see somebody on the street, I can be literally standing right there and they don't know, they can't see me. So on this gate, this is how I did my tie-in so I can open and close it. This is actually all tied together. Gate and the latch is right here. So you would just undo this, and that drops the fence there. If you need to, make sure before you touch that the fence is turned off. You don't want to be lit up like a Christmas tree laying on the ground for a couple hours. So on the back side of this secondary fence, as you can see, here's a fence that's rolled up for now, but it's all set up to be rolled back out if I need to protect this area some more. Some more trees for them to hang out. And it probably doesn't look like much. There's 4 trees in there. See, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more in here. So there's 8 trees right there alone. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's at least 14 trees in this area. I guess there's more than 12. So when that other gate's closed, there's another gate. So to get from the street into here, if I have all 3 gates closed, well, if I have all my gates closed, I have 3 gates for them to go through. So here's these trees. As you can see, the privacy fence continues. This is the graveyard where everybody's buried. As you can see, privacy fence continues. Those T-posts are 8-foot T-posts. So you can see how tall the fence is. It's 6.5 to 7 feet tall. That ties into the building. This is the greenhouse. I'm not using it. It's just for storage. But if it's windy or raining or snow, or if they're just cold, they can come in here. I can see I got 4 bales in here. 3 are grass, 1's straw. And then there's grass on the ground. They like dirt to play in, even if it's freezing out and there's snow on the ground. They still want some dirt to play in. So there's a dirt area, and then there's actually astroturf that's underneath that's exposed. It's just what I had for the greenhouse, but for the floor of the greenhouse. So I cut part of it out so they'd have some dirt to play in, and then the grass. As you can see, I store a lot of crap in here. Motorcycles stored in here. There's the generator, or not the generator, the water pump. There's a boiler for the steel. Just a bunch of stuff's piled up in here. Some tools, some food. The greenhouse stays about 10 degrees warmer than it is outside, so if they're cold, they can go in there. This is the generator shack. All you do is you just turn on the valve, hit the start button, and just once it starts, take your finger off of it. Do your cooking or whatever on your microwave. I use it only for the microwave. But when I'm done with the microwave, I'll come back out here. I'll turn off the valve, and then the generator will start to die, and then I hit the shut off the switch. It's just so the battery doesn't run dry, because it's electric start. It is vented. You can see right there, it vents out. There's the exhaust. You can see where it exhausts out. Don't need an inside vent because air can get through every one of these cracks. So it sucks in plenty of air on both sides all the way around. You can see light through. It can get plenty of air. But actually when I start it, if I close this and down, over in the far corner over there of the property, which is not that far away, it's about 150 feet away, you can barely hear the generator running. So it helps absorb a lot of the sound. Even though it's a metal building, it absorbs a lot of the noise. And it since I don't have fans running through it and it can suck all the air in at once, it actually is warm, keeps the generator warmer. Especially when you're running it. Warm air combustion is more efficient than cold air combustion. So if it's using its own heat to heat up the air it's burning, it's more efficient. This is the hot tub. This is the area. I call it the chicken enclosure. There's an area where the chickens can get out, but the dogs can't get into it. Here's another gate. So to get to the chicken coop from the road, there's literally 4 gates you have to go through. So this is the chicken enclosure with 7-foot fencing all the way around it. And as you can see, it's also got privacy cloth all the way around. What they call it, privacy fence. And that wraps all the way around, as you can see. This is the chicken coop. I cleaned out the chicken coop a few days ago. So what I normally do is I put a layer of grass down in the chicken coop, and they do their thing. Then I'll put another layer over it, another layer. I feed them a little bit of romaine lettuce every morning, and it keeps their poop from stinking. Granted, when they first poop, their poop might stink for a second or two, but then the smell goes away. And all this here, you'll never smell any poop. So it doesn't smell like I got chickens around. But I piled it up here this year. This time, one, because I had the fire. Two, I'm using it as a thermal insulation, so the sun will help. It'll absorb the heat from the sun, and then it'll help dissipate the heat overnight. Normally, I have it piled up along this fence area here, and at times I've had it nearly 3 feet deep, all the way out. And the chickens will just dig through it and dig, and then it gets turned, and I rake it up, and then they dig through it again. And over time, the dirt gets mixed in with it. Well, this is what remains after 2 years. It's been slowly breaking down over time. It's really good soil, and it's basically my compost area where I just throw where everything, all the stuff, and then it just breaks down, and just keep raking it in. And 5 or 10 years from now, this will be some really nice black soil from the chickens. So anyhow, this is the chicken coop, and everything that's gray. You can see there used to be tarps there that roll out in the summertime if I needed to. Anyhow, that was the fire. I had a little fan, battery operated fan that hooks up to a USB. It I guess lithium battery melted down, so I started a fire. But as you can see, this is the chicken coop. We get strongest winds come this direction, so I have metal wrapping this corner right here to help cut back on the wind that hits this corner, so the tarp don't flop around, make noise, and keep the animals awake at night. These are the bales of bags of mixed grass, hay, and straw that I got. I got it piled up on the back side of here. There's 5 bags here, each weigh about 80 pounds. Again, I'm just using it right now as thermal barrier for thermal insulation. The sun, it'll absorb the heat from the sun, and then slowly release it back into the chicken coop. This is the cinder block chicken coop. And as you can see, everything here is powered off of solar because we are off grid. This side here, I have gutters on that I made. They're homemade. Well, they're not pretty, but they do the job. They're homemade gutters. This side here, I didn't do it. I don't really need to. This opens. There's a chicken in there right now, so I'm not going to open it. But the whole thing lifts up, and it's attached to the door that's inside for the chicken nesting box. So when you lift it up, the interior lid lifts also, so you have access to the nesting box. As you can see, there's a chicken door down here. It should be open. So when it opens, it's green until it's done opening, and then when it closes, the red lights come on as it's closing. We're going in here. I got LED lights on in here. So like I said, I got a dirt area. Here's a area where they like to dig. You can see they like to dig, and some grass is starting to grow. When I empty their old water things, I get these little trays here from the Dollar Tree. They're $1.25. They're the perfect size for me putting their lettuce and stuff in it, and their feed. They don't last very long, but they're really cheap, so it's cheaper than the water and food bowls. But you can see there's one that's the size of the same as it has water in it. Anyhow, this is the ramp to the baby's coop, and then the ramp to the cinder block coop, which is the big one. And as you can see, there's a chicken door on that one, solar powered, and that's the controller right here. This one here is also solar powered, and obviously you can see the controller. This one on the baby's coop is a roll up, and all the rest they slide straight up. So in here, as you can see, there's a ramp. Poker likes that ramp. Weeble and Snoopy just like to jump up. But I make sure they got a layer. There's a chicken wire underneath this, and then I put some grass on it. It just gives them a flat platform where there's some food or something they can just gather up if they want, and there's some grass if they just want to lay on the grass instead of on the wood. And you can see it's lit up. You can actually see the battery pack right there for the door. The timers. Everything's controlled by underneath here. You can see the little green light. That's the 12 to 120 volt inverters down there. Underneath here is the solar charger, and below that there is the battery. And there's the cable that feeds it, fed from all the different panels. As you can see, we did have a fire in here, and what shade cloth didn't burn completely away. It's melted and fused, so to eliminate the smell, it's all been painted with white. Cuts down the smell. So here's Snoopy. She's waiting for her turn in the nesting box, and that's Poker. And again, there's grass on the bottom for them, and then also on the side, it makes them a big, nice, fat nest. They seem to like that. There is a heater underneath that grass right now. In the winter time, I turn it on. It's so that the eggs don't freeze when they lay them, until I can collect them. And I think I have it on from 6 to 9, so 3 hours. And when they're cold, they like to sit on it too. It's a little plate, that a heating pad that I had from when they were chicks. It went in their little house that I made for them, and it kept them warm at night instead of having a heat lamp keeping them awake all night long. They had that little heater. They just sat on it, and it just kept them nice and toasty. Well, now I use it in the wintertime for their nesting box. Anyhow, I got a buddy heater to help break the chill when I need to. I made this little, it's hard to see it. There's a little metal cage here that goes on it that this fan sits on. This runs off of heat, so the heat just causes the fan to spin, and it can handle the high heat. That's when I had the little fan going. Figured, hey, I'll just use an electric fan that's got a battery in it, and I'll move a little bit more of the air. I thought, well, it turned out it didn't, and the battery just didn't like it being in the cold and then turning back on in the heat, and it just melted itself down and started a fire. So I learned my lesson. Everybody got safely out though. As you can see, I got this wall here because this is the one that gets hit with the wind the most. It's where I have the straw and the grass piled up in bales. They like to eat this. It's called mix. It's got a little bit of everything in it. And so it's bales of that, and they eat it. And then what's on the ground is what's in those bags, which is also mixed, but it's a lot of loose stuff. It's not compacted like that. So that's how I help keep the place a little bit warmer at night, because it absorbs the heat, and then overnight, all night long, it's slowly releasing all that heat. So everything in here, like I said, is on solar. This fan I like. It's my second one. The one I got before, it didn't work that great, and when it turned on, it literally would twist the whole thing and make a lot of noise, and it was trying to tear itself off. This one doesn't. And the other one I had, it wouldn't actually move once you put it on. This one here will spin by hand if you need to. These blades, it's got some ripples on top. The ripples, if they're facing down, it'll pull the air up. If they're facing up, it'll push the air down. So in the wintertime, if I got heat in here, I want to push that air down. In the summer, if I'm trying to pull cooler air in and blow it out through the top, then I would just pull the blades out, and you turn them and you push them back in. Really simple. Right here, this is just a tarp, piece of a tarp. Then I got hooked here. I unroll it down. It's as long as the door, a little longer than the door here. It helps seal in these gaps, because as you can see, there's a gap all the way around. But if I roll out the tarp and I sandwich it between the door and this piece of grass here, it helps keep in more heat. So anyhow, that's this area. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about on the back side. As you can see, there's an opening in the fence that's for the chicken coop. There's an opening here. This is the lid for the nesting box, and it's attached to this lid, this door. So you lift up the outside roof and the inside roof, or this opens at the same time, so you have full access to the nesting box. So in this enclosure area, the chicken enclosure area, there's 3 trees in this area alone. And this is all protected by a fence. So if I need to, I can close this gate. And there's a way over here on the back where they can get out. It's like a little tunnel. They can come and go to the other side if they want. I can lock that off too. And same with the one on the front by the trailer, by the where Weeble is over here. See, that's where Weeble is right now. She's down there. So she can come and go as she wants, and I can close that if I need to. This here not only has fencing, but it's also got netting to protect them. Like I said, everything's is on solar, and we got lights everywhere. So there's a floodlight. It's actually a 2-headed floodlight. It points to both directions. Covers this whole area if I need it. And as you can see, I got 8-foot poles supporting all the cables to add additional support for everything as needed. Everything's reinforced. I don't depend on, this is 6 feet in the air. So I don't completely depend on that, because you can put a lot of pressure on the T-posts and eventually bend them over. So that's why I have reinforcing cables that run through, as you can see right here. It runs through the chicken wire, and it runs through the T-posts everywhere. It reinforces everything, and it's on multiple layers. So this one here has 1, 2, 3, 4 reinforcing cables running through it. This little section right here, I didn't have this T-post in. I had this one, and I had that 8-footer. And this is the area where they tore down the fence and came through and did the killing. Since then, I've added this extra fencing right here, making it taller. So now it's 7.5, some places 8 feet tall. And then I added this T-post and force into this corner to reinforce that corner also, so to help keep them from being able to tear down the fence. But as you can see, there's T-posts, and on both sides of the fence there's fiberglass, creating reinforcement. So there's T-posts and fiberglass everywhere, fiberglass poles to protect the chickens. I know it might sound like a little overkill, but we have laws in this state because this is an open range state, meaning animals are allowed to free range, and they have more rights than dogs. And so there's a lot of laws to protect the animals that